Did you know more home cooking fires occur on Thanksgiving Day than any other day of the year? And one of the biggest contributors to that statistic is deep frying turkeys.
We obviously want to make sure everybody has a safe and happy holiday. So when you're deciding to fry a turkey for Thanksgiving or Christmas, there's a couple things we want to make sure you do. First of all, never fry your turkey on any kind of flammable surface, wood decks or anything like that, or any kind of even dry brush or anything like that can be very dangerous. Always follow the manufacturer's recommendations. Take time to read through those instructions. Always make sure to fill it to the manufacturer's specifications. Most of your pots will have an oil fill level in there. If it doesn't, just again, consult those instructions to find out the exact gallonage that is required for that pot. Usually about 350, 375 is recommended depending on the make. Overheating can be very hazardous. Anytime you start to see smoke coming from the pot, it's time to turn that burner down because that oil could be getting to the point where it's just overheated. You can see we're demonstrating what not to do when frying a turkey this Thanksgiving or Christmas. As you can see, the oil level in this pot is way too high. This pot actually has an oil fill level. You wouldn't want to fill any higher than that. Fortunately, one thing we did do that I do recommend is making sure you're on a non-combustible surface, which we are, but never fill these on decks or any other kind of combustible surface. As you can see, our oil is smoking. Anytime you have smoking oil when you're frying a turkey, you're getting to the point of overheating. We are well beyond that, and we're going to show you what that does when you introduce that turkey. Our turkey over here is a 20-pound fully frozen turkey. Before you fry your turkey, you want to make sure it's thawed completely. Give it at least a good day's worth of thaw time, and then check it. Make sure you don't have any ice on the inside, and if you do, you want to make sure that gets fully thawed out before you introduce it to the oil. Next, one of the last things we want to make sure is your clearance around objects. You want to make sure, which we do have in this situation, we don't have anything around it. Always want to keep at least a 3-foot buffer between anything combustible and your turkey fryer. And then the last thing, you want to make sure your propane tank's a safe distance. As you can see, we've protected it with some aluminum foil to prevent any damage to the line itself. But feel free to do that in real life, but always make sure your propane tank is a good, again, that 3-foot distance to make sure that it doesn't get involved in any kind of incident. First thing you always want to make sure you have handy is a suitable fire extinguisher. We recommend an ABC extinguisher, a dry chemical extinguisher. Always have that around when you're doing the frying, just in case something does happen. You can at least make an initial extinguishment effort on that. But always, if anything were to happen, you want to call the fire department so we can get out there and mitigate it as quickly as possible. So as you saw, we introduced a fully frozen turkey into oil that was way too hot in a pot that was way overfilled. And so what happened is the frozen turkey was introduced into the hot oil. The moisture in that turkey then converted to steam rapidly. That causes the displacement of the oil in the pot, which then overfilled and then made contact with the flame and caused a flash fire. So had this been on a combustible surface or near a building, you can easily see how that fire could have easily introduced into a home, a deck, or anything like that, which is why we don't want, you make sure you fill it appropriately, use a thawed turkey, but also keep it well away from any structures and combustible surfaces.